first thing we want to make sure of is that we actually have a currency script. I'm just trying to quickly copy one over. I've actually created a tutorial on how you can make one of these. You should watch it. It should be shown on the screen right now. And if we have a currency script, to make sure it actually works, I need to make sure my game is published. If you already published your game, then that's good. There we go. Now that it's published, we can start working on something. So we are going to insert a script. Server is going to insert a script, which I'm going to call the KOTH handler. Something we also need is in workspace. We need to have a part which I am going to call the hill. We need to make sure that nothing else is called like this. I'm just trying to make it half transparent so that we know where it is. You can have this thing as transparent, really transparent. I need to make it cantilever false and anchored. You can have it transparent if you have a clearly visible place where your hill is, but I'm just trying to make it half transparent so that you can see it, so that I know where it is. And then we can come to the KOTH handler. We're going to have a payment interval as a variable. It is just going to be how many seconds it takes, so I'm just going to say, let's say every 5 seconds you can get paid. And then I'm going to say while wait payment interval do. And here first of all I'm going to get the part, so local part equals to workspace dot the KOTH hill. Then I'm going to get both corners of the part, so local corner 1 equals to vector3.new part.position.x minus part.size.x divided by 2. And now we can just copy over this part of it and separate it with a comma, paste it, separate it with a comma and paste it, and then just replace in the first time we paste it with both x's with a y, and then the last time we paste it with a z. Now we have the position for the corner 1, so I'm going to copy this variable and paste it. I'm going to replace the name of it with corner 2, and I'm going to replace the minuses with pluses. So we're basically just getting 2 corners of where the hill is, because then we can use region 3 to detect if there is a player inside. Talking about region 3, now we're going to get local region equals to region 3.new, and we just need to put in corner 1 comma corner 2. And then we're going to say if workspace colon find parts in region 3, and we're just going to put into the region, then local parts equals to, we just copy over what the if statement is checking. Then we also did a variable local player, but I'm going to use that in a second. And then I'm going to say for I comma part in pairs parts do. Basically right now every 5 seconds, which is the payment interval, we're getting both corners of the hill, so that would be here and here. It will basically create a region of these parts, and then it's going to get all the parts that are in this region, and then it's going to loop through the parts, and for each part it's going to first of all say local plr, not player, because plr equals to game.players colon get player from character parts.parent. Now we haven't confirmed that this is the player, so we have to say if plr then, so if it gets a player from that character, so then we know this is a player, we can just say plr.leaderstats.cash, or whatever your currency name is, dot value plus equals to how much ever you want to be paid for somebody beating king of the hill for the payment interval. So something we need to do is in replicated storage we have to insert a string value, which we are going to call current king of the hill. And then we are back in the script, going to after the player.leaderstats.cash.value plus equals to 100, we're going to say dim.replicated storage current king of the hill.value equals to plr.name. And now we can just say player, so the variable that's player not plr equals to plr. This is just so that now after we just insert a break, because we only want there to be one person eligible for the chain at the same time. So we just done this to make it stop looping through all the players, because it already found a player in the chain, in the part. So now after the for loop, we can check if player not equals to nil. So if it didn't find somebody to be player, then it says game.replicated stars.current chain of the hill equals to quotation marks with a space inside. Because like this, if there currently is no chain of the hill, it will be able to default back to nobody. So currently this is already a completely functioning chain of the hill system, but let's actually make a display. I'm just going to quickly copy over a GUI that I created. This GUI basically just contains a mainframe that has some nice size, has some UI corners, a gradient, and a stroke. It contains a headshot profile, which is just an image label, and a name display, which is a text display. The name display actually says there is no current chain of the hill, because if you first join into the game, it is actually going to say that. It doesn't. But as soon as somebody claims the chain of the hill, then that's already going to change. So what we're going to do is in the main, we're going to insert a local script. And in here, we're first of all going to get the run service. So local rs equals to game :get service run service rs.render step connect function local plr equals to game players find first child game replicated storage current chain of the hill value. And now we're actually going to get to the part why I, in the top handler, am setting the current chain of the hill to a space if there is no current chain of the hill. So we actually have to check if game.replicated storage.current chain of the hill value is not equal to quotation marks space. Then, so if we didn't have to set it to quotation marks, which we would do if there is nobody being chain of the hill right now, then that means we do have a chain of the hill. So we can check if player, so if it actually finds a player in the players that is called like that, then we are going to get the profile. So local profile equals a game.players get user thumbnail async plr.user id separated with a comma enum.thumbnail type headshot comma enum.thumbnail size 420 x 420, and then local name equals to plr.name. And these are both pieces of information we actually want to put into this GUI. So that's simply script.parent.headshot profile, which is how the image label is called, .image equals to profile, so that this image label right here is going to show up the headshot image of the player that is currently chain of the hill, and script.parent.name display text equals to quotation marks current chain of the hill space after the quotation marks name. Now after the first end, we're going to drop a line else. So if it actually is empty quotation marks, then strip.parent.headshot profile.image equals to quotation marks with nothing inside, and then strip.parent.name display.text equals to, in quotation marks, no one is currently chain of the hill. And this all is perfect. Something we should also do, the KOTH handler, we're actually going to say, instead of game.replicated or current chain of the hill value, we're just going to insert a colon, wait for child for the current chain of the hill, just to make sure that that actually loads in first. Okay, now let's start the local server. Okay, so there we are. Currently, it says no one is currently chain of the hill because it changed the value to space because nobody's currently inside there. But now, let's say if player 1 walks into here, after a bit of time, it says current chain of the hill is player 1. The profile doesn't load because of it being a local server with theoretical players which aren't actually real. I'm currently getting money, and it says that I'm the king of the hill. Let's say if I step out after 5 seconds, it should change nobody's currently king of the hill. Now let's say if player 2 walks into here, it says player 2 is currently king of the hill, and that will also go away again. But now if both players go into here, it is going to decide. Oh, it says player 1 is currently king of the hill, so it only works for one person at a time. Perfect.